Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, we've got a great show planned for you today. I'm excited about it. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. You know, we've been talking about live your dreams and enjoy life all year long. And I'm going to continue to talk about it because that's what I'm doing. And I hope that's what you're doing as well. We've got to do that. We've got to do what God created us to do and the visions that He's given us. And so we've got to live those dreams and enjoy life. And so I hope you're doing that. As I said, we have a great show planned for you. I'm glad you could join us today. I have the privilege and the honor of having none other than Lady Sarah Priester. So I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next.
Join us for Just Sharing, building community through stories of our past, discussing the 70th anniversary of Briggs versus Elliott, Brown versus Board, April 18th, 6 p.m. at the Orangeburg County Conference Center, 1643 Russell Street. Speakers are Dr. Vernon Burton, Dr. Bobby Donaldson, Mr. Cecil Williams, and moderated by Ms. Tammy McContry. This event is free to all, and light refreshments will be served. Registration is required. Sponsored by the South Carolina Humanities, National Endowment for the Humanities, United We Stand, and the Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum. For more information, call 803-662-4644. The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Finkley of The Michael Finkley Show, and you're watching Gold right now. Why? You're watching The Tammy Show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show. I told you we've got a great show planned for you. You know, I'm excited because this is Women's History Month, and we're ending Women's History Month. And how could I end this with this phenomenal woman? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She's an English professor. They call her the professor at South Carolina State University. She's known as the learning strategist for expertise in teaching students how to learn. Now, check this out. She was named the Girl Trek Organizer of the Year by Iyanla Van Sant. And she's a recording artist and also the First Lady of St. Paul Baptist Church, where her husband, Charcy Priester, is the pastor, and they have two beautiful children, Charcy Priester Jr. and Majesty Priester. I have the privilege of introducing to you Lady Sarah Priester. Come on out.
Hey, Tammy.
Hey, Reverend Priester, how are you?
Listen, my father-in-law would say this line, if it got any better, I would need a twin.
How about that? I love it. I love it. I'm going to remember
all
that.
All is well. All is well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, listen, you know, I always start out because you were on the show last year, but we had a great time talking about how you're a learning strategist. But I want you to kind of start and tell us about who Sarah Priester is.
As I've said in the past, I am just a woman trying to evolve into the best version of myself. I am a lifelong resident of Orangeburg, South Carolina, born and reared here. I have gone through all the schools here, the public schools, South Carolina State University. And I'm just a lover of God, my family, my community. And I love creating. I love being on the move. It nourishes my heart. That's who Sarah Priester is. So
wow.
You'll find me somewhere creating or doing something that is inspiring and nourishing. So that's right. Who I am.
Wow. And, you know, as I introduced you, I talked about you being the learning strategist. Talk about what a learning strategist is, what that is for Professor Priester. What does that mean?
For me, it's ways of helping students learn how to learn. I said that when we were together on the last show. A lot of students are underdeveloped and they come to us very smart, very with it. They can learn, but their skills are underdeveloped. And when they've gone so long like that, you can't go back and teach them what they didn't get. You find bridges, you find ways to make connections, and you do it through a way that they can enjoy, like through music, through non linguistical representation, drawing, any type of strategy that will help them to make the connection. Today, we had a wonderful opportunity to work on a piece by W.E.B. Du Bois called Of the Coming of John. And that is a story that I think all African Americans and anyone that love African Americans should read. It is about a story. I played the song in my classroom today, Level Up by Sierra. And so, of course, these are college students. So we had a good time looking at the lyrics, listening to the music. Sierra is just a force all by herself, but I was able to capture their attention through that anticipatory set to say that, we all want to level up. We all want to be the best versions of ourselves. We don't want to kill ourselves in the process, but we want it to unfold naturally. And so once we connected with that song, they looked at that piece, and there was a gentleman in that story who wanted to go to college, but he was deemed as one who was a good African American, very obedient. He was noted as good field help. He was good with the rice fields. And it was said that if he went to college, that he would be ruined. It would all the good African American. And so we had two schools of thought. We looked at the young man who was evolving and excited, and everyone, all the Blacks in his family, in his community, believe it or not, they walked him to the station, took his bags because they were so proud of him. It's as if they were going to school. But then there was the predominant white community that says, your mom's sending you off to that school, you're just going to spoil a good African American. And so I had the students to develop a news column. I said, this is your advice column. And so you need to speak. You get to choose. Always give them choice. Choose. What advice would you give to John? What advice would you give to the predominant community that is trying to keep him from evolving? And I mean, that was all she wrote because they had so much agency. Wow. And so, yes, and I connected it to something that they knew, Sierra. Beautiful Sierra,
Yes. Wow. And I love it because you are so creative, and just hearing you, that was brilliant. Yeah. Because you connected them with the now and with the then. And so they were able to come out, and as you said, you had such a phenomenal day today. You said it couldn't get any better. So I tell you, so I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to hear that because it lets me know now as we segue into all that you're doing in the community. I brought a video for you to see, and I want you to see this video, and you already know what it is. But folks, you've got to see this video. So Willie, let's roll.
Yes. Okay, and can we announce our 2023? We now have Organizer of the Year. I certainly can, because of the light that she carries in her being and her body, and that she is elevating not just her community and her sisters that walk with her, that she is elevating her matriarchal and her patriarchal line. Our Bullhorn Award for Organizer of the Year is Sarah Priester of Orangeburg. Sarah Priester! Yeah. She's going to be so happy. Shout out to you. All right, we got the last award. Yes, I do. I'm the Organizer of the Year! This is our
Wow. Yes, and I tell you what, when I heard that video and when I heard you screaming and hollering, it was screaming for Orangeburg, South Carolina. Yes. So let's talk about what it means for you What did that mean, that honor from Girl Trek, and to hear Ayala Van Zant name you as the organizer of the year? What did that mean for you, Sarah?
Well, first of all, when you hear Iyanla Van Zant, you think about a mother, a young lady who had children out of wedlock, stayed in an abusive marriage because she didn't know her worth, and someone who went back to school, law school. She's an attorney, she's an ordained preacher. She is the epitome of someone who says, I can fix my life. And so to have her announce my name, I think is prophetic, because I too aspire to be able to evolve to such heights. Amen. I am honored that she was the caller of there, giving us, she taught. She did a teaching at the beginning. Now, what you hear in that video was, I was in my office actually. I was, students had come by for assistance. And so I just had my cell phone to the side. I had it turned down really low. And I said, well, I'm just going to be listening. Every now and again, I would tap in. And I was helping Charlie Proctor, Greenville, Spartanburg, South Carolina. And so I said, Charlie, hold on 1 minute. And so I would listen. And I said, okay, somebody from California got this on. And then I said, wait a minute. So I would just listen. And when she called my name, I said, did you hear that? I was screaming. Charlie was like, and then he said, Miss Priestley, listen, I'm going to come back because you obviously are not here. You can't help anybody right now. I'll come back in an hour. And I said, well, make it 2. But he came back 2 hours later, and I was able to calm down. But it meant a lot because, again, as I mentioned, Girl Trek is a nonprofit organization. 1 million women strong have taken the pledge for self-care. And like anything, I always use this example that it took Christ 42 generations to come. There were the prophets, they were killed. There were all of the, what I would call the pacifiers. But when Christ came, he satisfied the need. He paid the price for the sin debt. And so healing is a process. It's not an event. And so Girl Trek has rallied around Black women because 137 Black women die daily in America from preventable diseases. And I understand that way too well. But my mom died at the age of 64, my sister at the age of 59. And I just had an epiphany and said, wait a minute, the women in my family are dying way too young. And although I did things like the gym and part of this fitness group, but nothing spoke to my heart because it was what we were created to do. And the hero of Girl Trek is Harriet Tubman, because Harriet Tubman walked. She walked her way to freedom. She went back walking, getting people free. And if we just would walk for 30 minutes a day, and as I shared with my group, if you saw us on Saturday, I shared with my group that I am a real woman. And a real woman has real issues, real things going on. And so a real life is just not a regimented puzzle, but I'm able to get it in when I'm able to get it in. Sometimes I miss. I'm not walking every day for 30 minutes, but I walk. And when I walk, I walk. So
wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I organize.
That part right there. We've got a picture of your group. So tell us about this picture.
So this is a picture of some beautiful ladies. 2 of the ladies that's standing in the back, Vondella Richardson Smith and Dr. Tawana Hemby. They were the speakers. And I had them come out to tell their stories. These are stories of triumph. These stories allowed us to see inside their lives. They had been through a lot of trauma, but they evolved. They transformed their lives. The other 2 ladies were just some members of St. Paul. In fact, I call them my little, they kind of take care of me. If I have to go speak, they'll drive me, hang out with me a little bit. But these ladies are walking for their freedom. That's what
Mm.
we're doing. We're
A-
walking to reclaim our lives. And there's so many things that walking will do. If you just walk 30 minutes, how it can cut your blood pressure, it can prevent cancer. I mean, there are so many benefits. Just pull up any video and ask, what are the benefits of walking? And I mean, they're just phenomenal.
And you know, Lady Sarah, we also have the other picture of the large group that you organized. Uh,
Yes.
Look at this. Now, is this inside the mall by chance?
This is inside the mall.
Mhm.
We meet at the mall at 8 o'clock, 8:30. Usually we get there at 8:30, but this day, because we had three speakers, one of them wasn't in that previous picture, but these ladies met me. The little young lady that's on the front, she's the MLK oratory speaker. And I mean, she told us about our blueprint. And I wish I would have sent you a little clip of that.
That's
But she,
Imani.
yes, Imani,
Yes.
not Imani John, but this is Palace, Washington.
Oh, okay.
She talks about the brown girls, the brown
Oh,
skin girls,
wow.
yes,
Wow.
who have blueprints. And in the center, we have Clarissa Muldrow.
Mhm.
She doesn't mind me sharing her age. She's a 76-year-old line dancer, silver stepper. I mean, she is
Wow.
silver slipper. She
Mhm.
teaches line dance. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, we have a ball when we come together.
Wow, I tell you, this is amazing. Just to see how you've been able to organize the women in the community. And
Yes.
so when we come back, Lady Sarah, I want to talk with you about being a recording artist, being the First Lady of St. Paul, but more importantly, the message that you want to share about self-care. Okay, we'll be right
Sounds
back.
good.
We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, that's what we'll be talking about.
Sounds
Okay?
good.
All right. We'll be right back, folks.
The Orangeburg County Conference Center supports downtown Orangeburg and our surrounding communities. The 6,000 plus square foot space is ideal for groups of up to 400 people attending corporate meetings, conventions, workshops, and special events. Conference Center staff are inspired to ensure that everyone can enjoy the modern amenities. State-of-the-art ballroom that accommodates up to 400 guests banquet style and 430 guests theater style. A warming kitchen with hot boxes, ice machine, refrigerator, freezer, and counter space. A lobby that accommodates 150 guests with special events outdoors. The comfortable outdoor amphitheater has a video wall and seating. Adjacent to the amphitheater is 12,000 plus square feet of green space that extends events outside, plus complimentary on-site event parking and additional parking across the street. Your event can take place all in one spectacular location. We welcome your special event in Orangeburg.
Greetings, greetings. This is Chief Bode Ajamume Saray of the Ghana Nation of North America, and you are now tuned in to the Tammy Show.
Welcome back to the show. If you have just joined us, I've been talking with Reverend Sarah Priester. I call her Lady Priester, Lady Sarah Priester. And we have been talking educator, recording artist, organizer of the year by Girl Trek, First Lady at St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church. So before I get into recording artists, my thing is, how do you do all of this? How do you balance? What's the key?
Well, really, passion. When passion is leading you, you find a way to win. There are many, many strategies that I have to have in place. For example, let me show you what today was like. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to answer your question by giving you an example.
Okay.
I had to do an observation for one of my colleagues this morning. Well, yesterday. So he had to return the favor and come out to observe me. Rather than trying to do something that was that was old or something that was not engaging. I knew that I needed to be extremely engaging. And so when a part of my syllabus was The Coming of John, that's one of my short stories that I had to teach. I started to think of things like, what is it that would zero in with the students on what it is that they are going to be learning? And that was about growing despite being held back, despite, and it talked about his heart. His heart was very, very excited, and he was ambitious about life, only to come back and not be received or no longer fitting in where he was. Well, when I thought about the Level Up song, I got excited. So I did not get overwhelmed about all that I had to do. It was passion that was driving me. And so when I was able to select that song and pull that together, once we got into the class, it no longer felt like I was being observed. It always felt like fun. We one line in the story that said, John was going off to school. Everybody was happy for him, but the predominant white community was not. And so I said, everybody say but. And so I said, say it 3 times, but. And I said, I would have passed my test, but I didn't study. Or I would have walked that extra mile, but I got in late. I said, I have a but, you have a but, we all have a but. And the kids took that and they ran with it. Mm-hmm. And they started talking, you got a but, I got a but. It became so fun, so alive, because the connotation was the contrast. Mm-hmm. But of course, when kids get a hold to it, then it's, I have a buddy, you got a buddy. We all And so one of the things that the way that I do what I do, I don't think a lot about it. I show up because it motivates me. Mm-hmm. It drives me. Planning this walk, looking for purple. I went out trying to find out, because we had to wear purple. I was in Dillard's and I bought a nice purple set. See, that was a part of pulling it all together. Mm-hmm. So the shopping part, all of it's what the passion that I get when I am creating. So it's not work. How do I balance all that I do? I'm carried on the muse and the wings of my passion and my creativity. And of course, I have to schedule. I have to lay things out. One thing I did do, and like I told you, I'm a real woman. I got a call from one of the young ladies at South Carolina State. I was supposed to be singing at the Miller Society. And so I got a call and she said, Sarah, you're on the way, right? And I said, well, that's next Saturday. Why are you asking me today? She said, it's today. So I had to, on the spot, get ready to go. And I have overbooked. I have scheduled and conflicted schedules. And I've been able to call somebody and said, I need you to go over here for me. Can you go preach for me? Can you go sing for me? I've scheduled that we had our First Lady Ministries Christmas luncheon, but then we also had a graduation. And so I sent someone to sing for me at the graduation while I met with my ladies. So it's a community. It's all help. You got to have, like the young ladies that drive me. I had to speak in Columbia for Women's Day. And the 2 ladies that were in the front, they drove me there. Wow. And I mean, we had a ball just going and coming. So it's a lot of help, a lot of hands, but it's my passion. It drives me. It motivates me. And it's not work for me. It's not work.
Yes.
I'm able to do, because it nourishes me. It nourishes me to be, when I left the mall on Saturday, one of the speakers mentioned that she wanted to commit suicide. And how God saved her from that experience. And it just shows that, the other ladies, where she is today, you would have never known that was a part of her story. And that's their story to tell. It's not for me to tell, but I'm just sharing with you. By the time I left there, we did more than walk. We left inspired. We left motivated. We left feeling human. Like, I'm broken in some areas, you're broken in some areas. Together we can heal together. And that's what that meant for me. And when I left there, I came and got into bed.
That's right. Well, I love the fact that you show us the real side of Lady Sarah. you know, and I thank you for being so transparent
Yes.
when it comes to us talking, because women need to see that other women go through some of the same things. You know, it's just how we deal with it.
I
And
want them to know I'm not a title. One of the things that one of my words in this season is IntelliKey. And the first cousin of IntelliKey is reconciliation, because there are parts of our personality that's still in the dark that needs to be brought to the light, to be reconciled into the whole personality for real healing. If I'm not showing success in certain areas, it's because there is still something there underdeveloped, but it's emerging. You don't walk over to the grass and say to the grass, grow, grow. I want you to grow. Naturally, it grows out of a process evolving to in its potential. When a seed is planted into the womb of a woman, that seed becomes the embryo. And then that embryo becomes the baby. Well, what is that force? What is making that happen? That acorn, it becomes a giant oak tree over time. I love sunflowers. When the sun is out, they wake up. And when the sun is down, what force is controlling that? It's the word is called IntelliKey, and it is the potential that is resident in each of us. And it comes from the scripture, Romans 8:11. It says that the same power that raised Christ from the dead lives on the inside of us. So there is a force in these earthen vessels that we haven't yet tapped into. You know, you'll say, well, that's when I didn't know who I was, but I know who I am today. And that journey of evolving and coming there. So, you know, we cannot just pretend that we've always been here, that we always had it together. You know, I've made some major mistakes, but they've taught me such great lessons. And I'm so happy to share them. And I will say, let me talk about me so that you don't have to talk about me.
I love it.
If I tell it, then I'm going to take all your power away, because I already told it.
That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. Well, you know, you also wrote a song. You're a recording artist. You wrote a song, Champion, and it's amazing. And so talk about the process of that song.
Well, that song was born when I taught 7th grade at Brookdale Middle School. That's how long ago. And that's why I understand that greatness takes time. It does. I'll give her credit. Betty Hicks, Whitaker Elementary School, Dr. Betty Hicks, she would always say to me, Sarah, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day. That was her line. And greatness takes time. And sometimes we don't want to go through the hard times, the process of what it takes to become amazing. But that song has taken a life of its own. It is the theme song at St. Paul's. St. Paul's trustees, deacons, and all of the officials, they received that song as the church's official theme song. It was voted in. Wow. So it expanded because of the words, the lyrics, the power of the song, that I am victorious. I am a champion. That doesn't mean that I don't have a marathon. That doesn't mean that I'm competing with others for this first prize. It's just that I'm not competing against you. I'm competing against the Sarah that I was yesterday. I'm competing with my old habits. I'm competing to win that prize. And so Champion was born when I taught at Brookdale, and I was a new mother. Terry Riley and my mother uses the song title Quick Draw McGraw, because we had a romance out of this world. We met and got engaged, and my son was on the way within 3 months. And, you know, so it was just a quick, and God does things quickly. I think he told Judas, he said, that thou doest do quickly.
Quickly, yes.
And so it was a quick romance, you know, got married, had a son. And I was a first-year teacher, second-year teacher. So I was learning how to be a mother, learning how to be a wife, learning how to be a professional. You know, that means being on time and turning in things when it's the deadline, and teaching and just being, you know, amazing. But it takes time. Greatness takes time. And so that song carried me. I wrote that song because my mom was a pastor. We would have 5-night revivals at that time. I taught in a city called Estill. I would have to drive 1 hour,
Wow.
back and forth. And so when I got to Orangeburg, and my mom still was a pastor, and the requirements there, leading the choir, teaching Sunday school, just being the PK, it was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why on my Facebook page, we have a First Ladies Ministry page. And it's we do a motivational Monday, because I remember being that 25, 26-year-old mother, career woman, and it does get better. And so we have contributors, a variety of professional ladies. Every Monday, we'll put up a post to inspire those young mothers that stood where we stood, to let them know that it does get better, to ask for help, to take time, to know that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Being perfect is boring anyway.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's boring. I like to live a little spontaneously,
Yes.
That song was written as my personal anthem. My students know it. When Miller Shamp called, I did their graduation speech, and it was suggested, because some people had known of the song, that I would modify the song for school, separation of church and school.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wrote the song, the lyrics, one of my favorites is move mountains, get out of my way. No valleys, I can't stay, because destiny is calling my name. But faith is where it all begins. And it takes courage deep within. I can be anything. But I said, first, wait, now let me introduce myself. I am chosen, I am blessed, and I'm inspired by awesomeness. Greatness flows through my veins, because we've been made in the image of Christ, and we are taking off and unlearning all these limitations. You remember the last time we talked, I told you about the book,
Yes.
Mama's book. Well, the light we carry, the thing that I love so about that, and I can connect it to this actual song, is she has a whole chapter 4, that asks, am I seen?
Mm-hmm.
She says, I've always been tall, but I came from a family that encouraged my strength. I grew up in a 2-parent home. They loved me. My voice was important. My opinions matter. But she said it was not much room for that outside those 4 walls. So it was hard for her to be strong and tall, because as the tall kid growing up, they would line you up, and she would have to get to the back of the line. So she always saw herself as being last, because she was always the tallest. Now, while it served her brother who played ball, it didn't serve her to be a girl, to be so strong and opinionated and brilliant, by the way.
That's right.
And so she had so many struggles. As I share openly, she shares what her struggles were. And definitely she was told, you can't go to Princeton. You're not Princeton material.
Mm-hmm.
And here is where we get into not being champions. She proved her guidance counselor wrong. She went her whole life. She talked about Stacey Abrams, who was the valedictorian. And Stacey Abrams and family, they had to take the bus to the governor's mansion.
That's right.
To make a long story short, they weren't seen for the power that they carried. And they spent their lives trying to prove. Champions don't have to prove anything. But we learned that.
That's right.
We'll say, you back me in a corner, I'll come out.
That's right.
Can't do it, I'll show you I can do it.
Yes.
When you get involved in that kind of toxicity and drama, it ends up draining you. Yeah. Just know that you're made in the image of God. Show up for your best life and be nourished by the work of your hands.
Wow.
So champion is about knowing who it is that we are.
Yeah. Lady Sarah, listen, you just ended it. You just said it. And I mean, to glean everything that you said from this interview it's just phenomenal. It's amazing to have you on the show and for you to share your innermost thoughts with us. And I really appreciate you. I mean, I love you. And I just love how you love people and what you're doing in the community. So I want to find out from you, what's next for Lady Sarah?
of course, finishing up the dissertation. Just and that actually pulling back. You said you wanted to know about my self-care.
Mhm.
Again, I always know that the scripture says that no one who leaves house, car, well, it doesn't say car, house, land, in this life to go after the gospel, to work in the vineyard, will not receive 100-fold. And it comes back to you in so many ways. And I'm not just talking about in money, but I'm so nourished because I've been able to set goals. I've been able to accomplish them, to do these things that I've done. And now I hear the Holy Spirit saying, now it's time to sit back and take care of you. This is a season to pull back. And so when I'm not doing anything at my church, I've delegated all responsibilities that I kind of oversee, but I've relinquished all of my responsibilities. And I told my husband, I just want to be his wife right now because he knows I'm very active in ministry because that's how I've been trained.
Mhm.
But I am slowing down to take care of me. And many women, they run into shipwrecks before they stop and take care of themselves. I am so glad that I was sustained by God. I was kept by God in 18 years at this church, 3 years at another church, 3 years prior to that. So we've been in ministry and I have been supportive of my husband's ministry, and God rewarded me 100-fold. Then now I can really give what I need to my career and to finishing up with this PhD. And I thank God that, my husband allowed me to share with him. Some pastors' wives don't allow their wives to really just use their ministry gifts and skills and talents. And I freely have been given that opportunity. And now I can freely sit back. I'm so excited.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
excited. I'm excited for you because
Yes.
what you are saying, all the things that you are involved with, you're saying you realize, and like you said, you heard the Spirit of the Lord say, it's time.
It's time.
Sarah, it's your time.
It's my time. And do
Wow.
you know what that feels like? It's almost scary.
Yeah.
It's almost scary because we've been trained. I always talk about this system called the patriarchy. And the patriarchy is where men have the dominant power and women are largely excluded from power. But as we know, no system is stronger than the system of God. We're going to that entelechy. We will evolve to our highest potential. No weapon, no system can stop what God has planned. And so this is the season. And I had to wait. I couldn't just do it. It looked like I should have, I could have, but it is written. Cully Bonaparte said, we got a working first lady. And it was my contribution. And so now I'm a sitting first lady.
Hey.
Ooh, honey. Ooh, but I paid my dues. I paid my dues, honey.
That's right. That's
yes,
right.
I did.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
And I think that's what some young people need to understand now is that you have to pay those dues,
You have to pay
and that's how you grow. That's how you grow. So, Lady Sarah, okay, so I'm going to end this with asking you the 3 words that describe you. You know that.
Yes. And I still say, I am Sarah Priester. I have the mind of Christ. I'm healthy. I'm whole. And I'm healed.
Whole and healed. Wow. Wow.
Most of the times, we want to be healed. The woman who had the issue of blood was seeking healing. For 12 long years, she had that. But Christ did not want to just heal her. He wanted to make her whole.
Wow.
Her finances had been gone. People, her relationships had been challenged. But now that she's healed, everything that was being obstructed can come back together. So that is why I make the declaration. I have the mind of Christ. I'm healthy. I'm whole. And I'm healed.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. This is a treat. This has been a treat to end Women's History Month with you. And I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you
My
enough.
pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
And listen, as you're doing that self-care, I'm taking everything. I wrote it down. So I have to do the same thing and be held
Yes.
accountable. We have to
And
hold each other accountable.
And see now, as the organizer of the year, I'm expected to continue to organize, and I'm expected to walk 30 minutes every day, 5 days a week, and post on our Girl Trek Facebook site. Now that I'm not overextending myself or meeting the moments, because sometimes, there's something that would take precedence over other things, And so I had to meet a lot of moments, but I always knew that season would not always be. And now it's my time.
Yeah. Well, Lady Sarah, please enjoy your time. And again, thank you so much. And the best to Reverend Priester and to Charcy Jr. and Majesty as well.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And you
And
have
keep doing this is wonderful what you're doing. It is amazing. You are a mover and a shaker.
Thank you.
And we have you on our minds at St. Paul Baptist Church. So
thank
you'll
you.
be hearing from us.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm not gonna cry, as Willie knows, I'm a crier. So I you don't know. I needed to hear that today. And so I
Yes. My husband always says, she's really good. She's a professional. I said, what else? Of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you're really good at what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
So you keep up the good work.
I will.
Yes.
And I'm taking everything that you said to heart.
Yes.
So self-care is number one.
That's right.
Number one. Okay.
That's right. Okay.
All right. Okay. Take care, Lady Sarah. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye. Oh wow, folks! I'm almost in tears because of some things that she said that resonated with me. I just had a call and someone asked me, "When is the last time you took a vacation, Tammy?" Now listen to this. I said 2019 or maybe 2018. They were like, "What? Are you crazy?" So now, as this is just confirmation. What Lady Sarah Priester talked about, self-care. And so now I have to make sure that I take care of myself, and I'm going to do that. So if you don't see this show on for, a couple of weeks, or we're showing some repeats, that means that hopefully I'm down in Miami somewhere. I'm on the beach somewhere, the Isle of Palms, somewhere, just rejuvenating, resetting, and getting ready to reshape and become the best that I can of myself. So again, Lady Sarah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Listen, folks, next week we are going to have another special guest, Mr. Herman Belton. And he's a golf professional, but he's also a U.S. Navy veteran. And he's going to be here to share a whole lot. And he's a historian in his own right. And so I can't wait to have him on the show. I want to thank my producer, Alicia, assistant producers, of course, Willie and Tiana. Willie, man, I thank you so much for always being here. Remember, please subscribe to the Tammy TV Show YouTube channel. All you have to do is hit the red subscribe button and it notifies you that when the show is coming on. So let's be a blessing to somebody today and every day, and just enjoy life. Live your dreams, enjoy life. Thank you again for joining the show. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.